Hey guys, Canadian Zangief, and I just recently went on a big trip down to the States to visit my good friend Ragin Rog, and I drove down with my family and hit up a lot of game stores and stuff on the way, so I got a lot of great pickups, and I kind of did some video walkthroughs, you know, for the ones that actually allowed me to do it. So let's take a look. Hey guys, so the beginning of Canadian Zangief's trip south, first stop that I actually hit something up for, you know, game stores anyways, was in Bemidji. It's the birthplace of Paul Bunyan or something, and I went into like a comic book store down there. It's a little small town, and I didn't really see anything when I was looking it up earlier for game stores or anything, but across from the comic book store there's a place called Books and More, and the More happened to be video games, and they actually had quite a bit. I didn't get any footage of it because I didn't have my camera with me at the time, but if you are ever, you know, passing through Bemidji, it's definitely worth checking out. You know, it's some really good deals and you know, pretty solid prices. I ended up picking up a few things there, and I'd say it was so far of my trip the best prices I've seen yet. So first off, I grabbed PS Vita game. It's not complete. This is just a crappy third-party case, but it's the Resistance for the PS Vita. Haven't played it before, but gotta collect for the Vita, right? I'll just print out a cover for that and put a nice original blue case for it. Next up, I got Revolt for the Dreamcast complete. You know, $5 for a Dreamcast game, that's not too bad. It's kind of like an RC racer, you know, but third person, so not like RC Pro-Am or anything. Looks pretty sweet. And I was just kind of looking around at their PlayStation stuff after I was looking through their Dreamcast, and I'm not the biggest fan of this game, but the price was right, so I picked it up anyways. And that's Chrono Cross complete in great condition, $8. You know, I couldn't really say no. I know it's not the most valuable of games, but you know, I figured $8 was well worth it. Something I've actually been looking for a little while, I found there for a really good price, even though it is, you know, a little cruddy, but that's Gunsmoke for the NES. Kind of a top-down run-and-gun shooter. $12. You know, it's dirty, but the label is in pretty good shape. It just needs to be cleaned up a little bit. Once I get back to Winnipeg, I'll take some rubbing alcohol, clean her up. And just on the way out, I normally don't collect these either, but once again, price was right. So they were selling loose amiibos for like $4. So I grabbed a couple of them, you know, just for the hell of it, throw them up on the shelf. Mega Man for $4, and Sonic for $4. Yeah, so I got some amiibos, and yeah, it was a pretty good store. The staff was pretty nice. In the basement, there's like multi-level. They actually had like full arcades down there too for sale. Pretty cool, but there's no way I want to fit that in the Geef Cave, you know. So after we left Bemidji, we continued south and southeast, and we eventually hit Chicago. Now I had looked up some of the stuff for Chicago, and I was really looking forward to going to two in particular that I found. And the first one I went to was called The Exchange, and it was the pictures that I saw just don't do it justice. Everything in there is so amazingly organized. The shelving is beautiful. You know, the only problem I think is some of the aisles are a little bit too narrow, so I felt a little awkward trying to actually look at a lot of stuff. You know, just because I want to politely get out of people's way if they're moving past, and that's just me because I want to be polite, right? I'm sure if I didn't care about that, that wouldn't bother me at all. But the staff was amazing. I went in and identified myself and asked if I could shoot some video, and you know, I guess the store manager, Jordan, he had told me his name was, and he was very welcoming, and he you know, was very pleased to help me with that, and you know, gave me some stickers and you know, some stuff to identify their store and everything. So very helpful staff, and I couldn't recommend it enough. Very nice selection of stuff, very nicely organized, and the prices, you know, just like any retail store, the stuff that sells quick, like the Marios and the Zeldas and everything, you know, they're going to be up a little bit higher because people are going to pay that. But if you're a collector and you already have all that stuff, they got all the other more obscure stuff that does not move that fast at very good prices. If I had a little bit more time there, I probably would have picked up a lot more there, but you know, I'm not the only one on this trip, so it can't all be about the geef, you know. So what I picked up there, so first off, I grabbed something that I lost when I had the break-in, and that's going to be Valhalla Nights 3 for the PS Vita. I didn't actually pay, I got it for 20 bucks. I didn't pay this much for it originally. I think I only paid like 15 Canadian, and this is 20 American, but I've been looking to replace it for a while, and I've been watching online, and the price seems to be kind of high, you know, and it seems to be kind of rare, because a lot of people aren't getting rid of it, I guess. So comparing it to some of the prices I could have got it for online when I was looking, this is quite the steal in my opinion. I've pretty much beat it too when I had it before, and it's a pretty fun game. Valhalla Nights 3. Also, what I got here next, Super Nintendo game. I remember playing this tons when I was younger, just because it's, you know, takes a heck of a lot of time. It's kind of like Baldur's Eye of the Beholder. I played that one a lot too, and you know, I was really into it. I was using graph paper and mapping out the world and everything, and the dungeons, and I did not get very far. It's a super hard game, but you know, I'm looking forward to, you know, go back in the past and play it and see if I can do any better than I used to. That's Wizardry 6 for the Super Nintendo. You know, 10 bucks. I don't know if you can see that, 10 bucks. So it's about what it's worth, I guess. But you know, it was on my list to pick up, and it was there, so why not, right? Vacation. Picked up another Dreamcast game while I was there. Railroad Tycoon 2 for the Dreamcast, and only $6. So that's always a good deal for a Dreamcast. It's complete in pretty good shape. I haven't actually played Railroad Tycoon on the Dreamcast. I've played it on like the PC and stuff, and it's fun. So gonna have a good time with that. And the last things I got from the exchange were 2 Game Gear games. You know, love the Game Gear. Got a pretty good deal on them too. $8 for Battletoads for the Sega Game Gear. I think I'm only missing like one version of it now, and then I have all of them. And RISTAR for the Game Gear. I think I got this for like $2, so pretty happy with it. Once again, the exchange in Chicago, great place. It's very clean, and they have a lot more than just games too. They got like tons and tons of CDs, tons of movies, tons of collectibles, records, like everything. And yeah, I would have spent a lot more time in there if I wasn't, if I was by myself, I would have spent like 2 hours in there. And the next place I went to, also in Chicago, was People Plays Games. Now that one, it was a little bit more down to earth, I guess, than the Exchange. Exchange was very professional and crisp looking. This looks more like, like the Chicago Secret kind of thing. The staff was pretty nice, and they allowed, I talked to them, and they seemed pretty nice, and they let me film and everything. I promised them I wouldn't give any audio or film any of them at their request. So they got a lot of neat stuff like all over the walls, like dead consoles. I guess they've like actually nailed up on top of above the games and everything, and very, very diverse selection. I think that's the most diverse store that I've seen. For instance, like they have tons of like complete ColecoVision and Atari 2600 and Intellivision, and actually quite a bit of it. And there's not much of a market for it because, everyone was always so swamped with it. But it was nice to see it. Like, they even had Coleco Adam and like Commodore 64, TurboGrafx 16, like the list goes on. They had pretty much everything. And they had something also that I wish a lot of other stores would do as well. For their loose games, the loose disc games, they actually put little CD cases with a picture of the game on it and actually had it out on the shelves. I'm so used to having to specifically ask stores, do you have any loose games? Because, I custom case a lot of this stuff. But it's all right out there. So that was pretty refreshing. I like that. So what I got from People Play Games, wrong bag. There it is. I only got 2 things because I got a few more stops to go to on my trip, so I don't want to blow all my money yet. But 2 things I've actually been looking for specifically is what I got. The first thing I got was Beyond the Beyond for the PlayStation 1. It's not the best RPG. The reason why I got it is because it's like the first RPG for the PlayStation 1 that I played anyways. And I remember specifically when I found out about this and got it, I, had a Super Nintendo. Super Nintendo was very heavy on a lot of excellent RPGs, and I had a PlayStation, but I had to sell everything to get towards it, so I didn't have any RPGs anymore. But, so I had like Battle Arena Toshinden, and I can't remember what else, but this was RPG I actually picked up for the PlayStation. I remember spending hours and hours and hours trying to like force the game to save a character, because there's a point in the game where someone's supposed to die, and you fight like some super hard enemy you're supposed to lose, but I'm still wondering if you can get strong enough where you actually can force the victory, or it forces you to die, or it glitches the game. I don't know, but I got it for $12. It's a good, decent price for loose, I suppose. Well, retail at the very least, but I was looking for it, so that's the main thing. And the other thing that I got from there, this was a little overpriced, I believe. I haven't checked what it's worth in a little while, but I believe it's overpriced. But I was really looking for it, and I almost got it a couple times in the city, Winnipeg, but the timelines were adding up too well. So I ended up getting Bonk's Revenge for the TurboGrafx 16 for $36.95 and tax and everything. So it was just shy of $40. That's definitely high, I'm pretty sure, but it's been on my list for a while, and TurboGrafx 16 games are very hard to find, it seems. Anybody who collects for it doesn't get rid of them, and I'm extremely happy to finally have it. And I recommend that store to anybody as well, especially if they want to find some of those hard to find system games. Like they had tons of CIB stuff too. I know there's a lot of CIB guys and like sealed stuff. So like for instance, Cube 360, who just visited me not too terribly long ago, he refuses to buy anything if it's not CIB. So this store would be like right up his alley. So alrighty, so we'll see you at the next store. Okay, next up, we're finally in Virginia, and stopped in at East Arland. That's one of the biggest, places I've ever seen for retro. It looks like a freaking warehouse. Even when you pull into the parking lot, it looks like an office building. It doesn't even look like a game store. So if it wasn't for Ragin Rog coming in and show directions, I think we would never have found the darn thing. Prices are, as usual for retail. A lot of the popular stuff are a little bit higher, and a lot of, you can find gems and stuff that don't sell much, so they're discounted. But all in all, the prices were pretty reasonable. Everything was like professionally cleaned and looked very, nice and orderly. Every game that they had was pretty much shrink wrapped and taken care of, even if it was not CIB. One thing that was a little strange, I wish they would have done it differently, but I guess it makes it easier for not having to change prices on everything all the time. There's no prices on the games themselves. It's all on their online store. So there's multiple computers set up all over the store, and you basically look it up, what you're interested in. It has some pros and cons. All in all, it was an amazing experience. Even Mrs. E found a lot of stuff that she was interested in. So before I went there, I looked up basically what I was kind of looking for, because there's so much stuff that you just kind of get lost and overwhelmed in there. So what I picked up was, first off, Nightmare Creatures 2 for the Dreamcast. Just loose, I think it was like $9 or something. Not bad, I always have a difficult time finding Dreamcast games in locally, just because there's just not that much around. Next game I got was Slave Zero for the Dreamcast. Once again, loose. This one was $5. And I also got, what is this one? This one is Draconis, Cult of the Worm. Cult of the Worm, Draconis, Cult of the Worm, for the Dreamcast again. It seems like an actually not bad game. I've never played it, but it looks like a third-person action RPG kind of thing. That one was about $8. Good deals all around for that. Next up, when I got there, I spotted a Pocket Bomberman. Definitely hidden gem for this one, for the Game Boy Color. $5 for this. Great deal. And the one I was specifically looking for, because even harder than Dreamcast, I have a hard time finding TurboGrafx 16, and this seems to be a good trip for TurboGrafx 16 for me. I picked up Tiger Road for $22. Awesome deal for Tiger Road. And then we kind of went on and we went to the next store. Okay, so after we were done with East Arland, we went to the next place called Play Raven. This one Ragin Roger has been to quite often. He took me there, and he spent a lot of money over the time. It's like a little hole in the wall, but super friendly staff, great selection. Everything's kind of seems to be a little bit all over the place, so it felt good because it was kind of like I had to hunt for stuff a little bit. They had like dollar bins, they had like a claw machine with like a Super Mario World in it, and just a lot of neat stuff. And the owner is also a private collector, so on the top row of everything he has all his specialty not for sale private collection stuff, like really neat stuff I've never even seen before. to list a few, there was the yellow Resident Evil 4 GameCube controller. You know, I've always wanted one of those. There was like a GameCube keyboard. That was really something I've never even heard about before. And in their display case, now this was for sale, they had a little Samson. I've never seen one in in front of me before. A little Samson, listed for $1,300. For some reason, that has just skyrocketed recently. I don't know why, and I don't see how anybody could pay that much. But it was silly that you get excited to see something like that. But I've never seen that particular game as expensive as it is in person. Mrs. Zangief was joking around and asking to hold it and stuff, and they let her hold it and let us actually play it, on original hardware, which was cool. I normally just emulate it or use a pirate cart just for the sake of playing it, right? But it was definitely nice that they extended that courtesy to us. So what I ended up getting there was Little Nemo's Dream Master for the NES. It's a solid platformer. Only $12. $12. Not bad at all. Label's really clean. Looks good. The other thing I got was another Dreamcast game, and Fighting Force 2 for the Dreamcast for $6. Can't complain about that. All in all, they even let us into the back room to see the stuff they haven't even put away. And, if I lived in the area and wasn't just visiting, I would definitely be coming back to this place, just for, the people. It was really good. The next place I went to was Press Start in Fort Royal in Virginia. Little bit of an oddity store. Stuff was priced fairly erratically, and they wouldn't actually let me film in the store, which is a first for me. Usually retail stores, they are more than happy to allow people to film and get their name put out there. Like, this is the first one on the trip, and I've hit quite a few places already, and the staff, they were nice, but a little bit off. It seemed like they didn't really know their stuff either too much. I did find a couple things that I picked up. One thing I was actually looking for, the other I just kind of picked up as a joke. But we'll see how that goes. It was cheap, so whatever. What I picked up first as the kind of joke thing is Calvin Tucker's Redneck Jamboree. I figure I'll get Ragin Rog to sign it for me. I just kind of keep it as a ceremonial place on the shelf. I always make fun of him for being, a Yankee Doodle and everything. Just some playful fun between friends. And the other thing I actually was looking for, specifically because I fell in love with a lot of the Game Grumps episodes of this particular game with Aaron and Danny kind of bickering back and forth playing it, and that's Rip King for the PS2, which is Frog Golf, or Frog Golf, whatever. Super fun. I got it for like $17. Not bad. It's complete. The discs were a little bit scuffy, but the guy that was working there resurfaced them for me for free, which they should have done before they put it on the shelf, but that's just how I feel about it. But otherwise, it was it was a good store. Like I said, the prices were a little bit wacky on some stuff. Perfect example was in their showcase. They had a what was it? Comic Zone for the Genesis. Beat 'em up. Great game. It's a cheap game though. Like, it's not expensive. They had it listed for $49.99. I couldn't believe it. If that's what they sell these for, like, I should haul up a box of these from Canada or something and get them for 10 each and just walk away with hundreds of dollars. I just don't understand, but I guess if people want to spend that down there, that's their business. But yeah,
it's been a fun.
So, in conclusion, it was a great vacation. You know, it was so good to see Ragin Rog and, you know, have some time away and everything from the normal grind. See a lot of places I haven't seen at all, and some I haven't seen in many, many years. And yeah, it was good. It was really good. It would be better if the Canadian dollar was a little bit higher in comparison to the US dollar. You know, I think I was paying 71 cents for every, every Canadian dollar was 71 cents. You know, so it was kind of shitty in that respect, but you know.